Uh, okay. So now I'm assuming it's hard for me to remember that we're up to Perek Asivi.
Yep, that sounds right.
Okay. By the way, tomorrow night, they're making a surprise party for my mother. I can't be here. And the next night I'm in Ofakim, so I can't be here.
Ofakim.
Ofakim.
What's
Why?
this? What's Ofakim?
Ofakim is down south. My son lives there.
Oh. Yes.
Okay. Aval. Ich ofen atachbulu misha kososo lov hajo on the bottom. Ala sheila on the question. Eze eitzi yeshna la'adam shos avera shekosh lo yilachzo lo b'tshuva. We had learned in Perek Tes all kind of scenarios where it's difficult to do tshuva. Well, so what are you supposed to do? Right? Is it all over, or there is ideas, the ways of doing tshuva? In anointing as a tshuva avois, I'm going to give you this tshuva, this answer, this response. Avera shekosha taken say they have tshuva miyucheres lois avera. Says an avera that it's difficult to correct it through I guess the regular tshuva process that's designated for that avera. Behechrech mishtayeches leecher b'shnei sugi averos. He says it has to be one of two types of averos. Oishim aver shemen adam leboy, right? Either it's an aver bein adam kadosh baruch hu, oishi aver bein adam l'chaveri, or it's an aver bein adam l'chaveri, bein mamois, you cheat someone, geneva, stealing, zelo, chomos, vovel. Right? Those are the two possibilities. There's two types of averos. There's one aver that's bein adam l'makom, and one bein adam l'chaveri. Bein hefdo leiz sug aver mishtayeches. He says, but it makes no difference which category that avera is. If the person can't do tshuva, if he can't do tshuva for one of the reasons that we said before, that because of them it's very hard to lachzor b'tshuva. And he fulfills, so he does the Ikrei Tshuva, Charota, Vidui, Kabbalah Osid, doing everything he can do. Right? But like again, I don't remember everything we learned in the last parak, it's so long ago, but another one is a typical thing. I don't know who I stole from. So I can't repay, I can't ask forgiveness. So what could I do? I could do whatever I could do. I could have true charata for what I did. I could do the vidui. I could do Kabbalah and Asid. And when I do that, and Hashem sees that I'm sincere, as a very make a love of tshuva. Now, Kodesh Baruch Hu makes the tshuva process easier. And forgives him for what he doesn't know about and what something he can't do. It's interesting, even though we say you can't have a kapara unless you ask for forgiveness and you repay, it sounds like here that in a case where you can't, then like that requirement a little bit falls off, which is hard to understand because it's brought all over that it's a problem. In Sefer Chafetz Chaim writes that one of the problems of a Baal Tshuva, Baal Loshen Harik, who does Tshuva, is that there's no way he could recall and track down everybody he spoke about because he was speaking freely for years, and there he writes in real Tshuva, but here he's saying that Hashem is Mekel of a Tshuva. It forgives him for everything that's hidden and beyond his ability. I'm not sure what this means. Let's see if he translates it. Good. Good. Here we go. Hainu shalo odom laso is kol ma sheyesh b'koichav yichol. It says what the Rav is saying is that the person has to do everything in his ability. So if he knows he did avera, but right now he doesn't remember how many times they did avera or different ways. I don't remember who I sinned to. Like we said, I stole, but I don't remember anymore. I remember an Ardavid guy who became very firm afterwards. He says, I there's no way I could, return everything I stole. He did regular stuff, whether it's, stealing from stores or I don't know, whatever he did. He just says, no way I could go back and track everything I did. Okay, so says the Chovos haLevavos, but if I've done everything I can, and now he has real regret, and he wants to do tshuva. All of the Kabbalah Atzmei called Gidya tshuva. He has to accept upon himself all the different aspects of tshuva, and again, besides the ikra tshuva, the basic 3 or 4, the Shari tshuva lists 20 different aspects of about tshuva. The kain kfi koichav yichalper, fulfill them to his best ability, based on his understanding and what he does know in each situation. Kashawaisa came, believe showing when he does that with his full heart. Kosh Baruch Hu brings to him, gives him a special siyata d'shmaya to correct the avera totally. Even though he doesn't know much remember. Maybe he doesn't explain more, but maybe if you stole from someone, HaKadosh Baruch Hu in some way causes you to have a business deal with the guy and be the cause for a big profit for that person. So the guy ultimately did get the money back from you. He doesn't make it clear, but he says HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mamtzilu. Siyata d'shmayim yuchedes, the takin achet legamri, afshein azoicha legamri ma'achota. Okay, so it's the thing, as you get a siyat shayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants your tshuva, a right to be tshuva. And if you've done everything you can, and so it's not Hashem's style to say too bad, So he sets things up in a way that you could correct it, even though you may not even realize it. So he gives examples. He had said, let's say you had an illicit relationship, and there's a baby and it's a mamzer. There's no fixing it. I think that was one of his examples, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So he says, no, I'm on the wrong place. Lamoshe, on the bottom. He sinned with one of the arayos and gave birth to a mamzer. That's interesting. What does that mean? Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to destroy the mamzer? Before he said, Mishaba ala erva v'hardu mimena mamzer ki hacher v'loy tomosh. He can't erase what he did.
Wouldn't murder just be an easier example of that? Like you can't bring the person back alive because he killed them?
Well, he brought that also.
Okay.
He brought that as an example before of those things that are difficult to do tshuva on. Let's see what it says there. So, I don't know, again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has many, Hashem has many different, we can't compute all the calculations that go into when a person is punished, right? On Rashi, on that pasuk in Azinu says that a boss of Adam, a judge, regular judge, if someone does wrong, he has to judge him, and he can't really factor in, the ripple effect of what's this going to affect the person who's going to jail, his wife, his children, his grandchildren. He can't do that. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he does a
Yeah,
mishpat,
I'll be okay, it's fine.
anybody who's affected, it's with a cheshbon.
Yeah, I'm happy, really, really happy when you take
So
time for yourself
maybe
and feel good how you're doing things.
I don't know what it means. He says something, yeah.
You're here about your day.
He also explains, it sounds like the Chovos haLevavos is saying that what's going to happen
Yeah,
is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will cause it, that mamzer
frustrating.
that was born, and again, there's a cheshbon with the mamzer also. That child, that offspring, there's a cheshbon. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu will cause that offspring should die or something. Maybe that offspring, again, I don't know why should the offspring suffer because of his father, but in some way he'll be removed, and therefore you won't have any more the result of that relationship, and now you could do tshuva. Another example, when Yaveru was with financial goods. When Shavima, you cheated someone, also stole. You don't have the ability to return. You stole so much, and you got nothing now. Okay, Yitin moment. So if Hashem sees that you really did, it's an interesting concept because in other places in the Chovos haLevavos, in all this firm, when they try to explain why someone has a lot. He was blessed to have a lot. Sounds like here, one of the cheshbonos is that if a guy, at one point, Taka was a lowlife and he stole. And now he can't do tshuva because he doesn't have the ability to repay. But Hashem sees that he's really, really wants to do tshuva. Hashem will grant him financial means.
What's our source for that, if you don't mind me being cynical?
This,
I'm sorry?
the Chovos haLevavos are Rishon, that's the source.
Okay, what's he basing it on? Like, we have a basic understanding, like to gain tshuva for, stealing, you have to give it back. What source are we bringing to support that this kind of works also? Like, it sounds like a nice feeling. It's like, okay, if you really mean it and you did it, then, it's all cool. But it doesn't seem to be supported.
Is that ultimately, there's no such situation that a person can't do tshuva. Like in the last parak, he said things that make it difficult to do tshuva. But I don't know if there's any affair that ultimately, in Mishnayos, in Yuma, it says that sometimes you need Yisurim to help you cleanse yourself. Sometimes you need the Yom HaMisa, but ultimately, you're forgiven. So it sounds like HaLevavos understands that a person who's honestly trying to do tshuva, and he's done everything he could. Now he's trying. He did everything he could. He'll get that siyata. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will. Again, I don't know where his source is, or he understands the whole tshuva process that way. He doesn't bring a source. Right? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help you do that tshuva. He'll give you the means.
But it's kind of like, if you wrong someone and they die, you're supposed to go to the kever with a minion or something. It's like,
also,
okay.
Let's ask him mechila from the person who died because it's not here anymore, right? You take a minion and you ask mechila. Okay, that's part of your tshuva process you have to do. But what about the case where you stole from someone and you can't pay him back and you want it, but you're not successful financially and there's no way you can get the money. So he's saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make you financially successful to help you do tshuva. But it's only after you've done all of this, right? If you could go, you know who you're wrong, and like you say, he died. So part of it is that you have to go and ask him mechila in his grave. Afterwards, now what? But I owe money to the family because I stole from you. I ripped him off.
I just feel it's like one of those like feel good stories rather than like, oh well, this exactly because of that, blah blah blah. It's like, well, it's like, well, it means if he never became financially successful, it means he never achieved tshuva, or maybe there are other factors why he couldn't get the money, or it seems like one of those feel-good stories rather than anything else.
Yeah, first of all, it's interesting what you're saying because generally the arguments are, oh, God's not good and he's cruel and look all the bad in the world. Now you're having a problem with the good. You know what I mean? You're having a problem. We're here to say for saying, no, God's good. And even in a case where you shouldn't be able to do tshuva, he's going to help you. And you're taking issue with that. It's an interesting point you're bringing up.
I do bring the interesting points in this year.
Yes. And I think the Chovos haLevavos is just giving us, a possible scenario. There's a million ways that a coach to facilitate the tshuva of a person who really, really, is about tshuva and wants to do and will do anything he can to rectify the avera. So it sounds, to me, this is very encouraging because I always understood there's certain things you just can't do tshuva. Right? It's a problem. Like I said, Lashon Hara, too bad. You should have thought of it 10 years ago, The Chovos haLevavos is giving us a very, and I'd like, it would be something interesting to see how this matches with what the time writes and other scenarios that no, there's always truth. If you're sincere, and sincere means sincere, again, remember, the Shlomo reads your thoughts. He knows you. He reads you like a book, as they say. Right? And you did everything, like you said, you went to the grave. You did everything. You're working extra hours to try to get the money to pay the guy back. Right? Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to help you. He's going to say to the Shmaya. It does make sense, Ron. It makes sense. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a good person, and you've done what you've done yours. You've done yours.
I've done
That's
my
the
work.
Kerech HaTshuva. The Kerech HaTshuva is erases averos. Now, certain averos, there's a problem because you left a mark. One thing, I didn't take a little look. I didn't, whatever. Or I had a illicit relationship, but there was no children. Okay, so it's easy to understand the tshuva process. I have real tshuva because Baruch Hu sees this, and I did everything. I'm forgiven, and if you do it, I've been toichava. It even becomes a mitzvah, right? That's what it says. The mitzvah is
Right.
if you do. So the problem here is that there was ramifications, what we call physical ramifications in the world to Yavera, and that you can't seem to erase, undo. So he's saying that in such cases, HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to the rescue, so to speak. He'll help you undo it.
I hear it. It's very encouraging. It's like and it's great when you see like, the entire flow in order to arrive at that. Let's say you stole $20 from me, all right, and then we lost connection, whatever, and you're saying go through this process, and somehow I'll re-benefit that money I was supposed to get. Does that actually erase it? Like I still feel slighted that I lost $20 from you in the past. So even though I got money back later, or is that up to me to recognize that it somehow was mashlim? I don't know. It's like
Right. Well, look, it's certainly, whether you know it or not, certainly rectified the financial loss. Now you're saying, what about the emotion? I was hurt. I know you stole from me, and we lost contact, and I can't track you down, even with Google. Can't find you. You got on a plane and you went somewhere and don't know where you are. So maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu will just bring forgiveness into your heart. And it's real Zaka, right? Erev Yom Kippur. So one of the things the Chofetz Chaim there says, in fact, he changes the order. He takes the end and he puts it in the middle because he knows a lot of people. And what do you say? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu should put in the hearts of the others to forgive you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu could do that also, where one day say, this is ridiculous. This is mamash ridiculous. One second. Yes, Rabbi Moshe. So where are you? Okay, 30 seconds. I'm coming up. 1 minute. Ron, just 1 minute. Someone came to pick something up from me. Run outside.
What time is it? What kind of time?
What do you want to do? The gym, I don't think they're using, but it might be locked up. I don't know. Learn to use the best kind of shit. They're over here. They used to be. for 3 years. That's a corona. Listen, I just in the middle of a Zoom, so excuse me. Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry. So that Koshroch could put in your heart that that either you forget about it or it stops hurting and you realize, Baruch Hashem, I have a good parnasa now. I don't have to worry about that. I mean, I assume.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to reach out to Rabbi Yanofsky, even though he hasn't been here for a while. Is he in the country?
Last time I checked, he was doing in the States.
He's in the States. So who could Barry got on a plane today?
You're going on a plane today?
No, Rabbi Berry got on a plane today. But I know I can't be here at least the next 2 nights. I don't remember what my Thursday schedule is.
Okay. Well, you'll be here in spirit.
In spirit. Well, in spirit doesn't help you learn,